Most commentaries appear in a series. And so you have like the Word Biblical Commentary, or Hermeneutic, or the Baker Exegetical Commentary, something like that. So usually there's a series, and then somebody has written a commentary on the Gospel of John, the Book of Romans, Genesis. So the information that you need is both the commentary's title as well as the commentary series that that title appears in. So again, similarities: first name, last name in footnote, last name, first name in bibliography, comma, the commentary title, John, the Gospel of John, the Gospel according to John. It's going to vary by commentary series, so you want to look at that title page and make sure you got the right title. The commentary series appears as an abbreviation in your footnotes. Again, that's one of those you have to look up in the SBL Handbook. The volume number, so this might be volume 25 in the Word Biblical Commentary series. Semicolon, the city, colon, publisher, comma, date, and parentheses, comma, page number. Same information in the bibliography, just slightly different, last name, first name. The commentary title in both of these should be italicized. The commentary series is not. And the commentary series is in standard font. Commentary series name spelled out, not abbreviated. The volume number, period, city, colon, publisher, comma, date. Again, when you're citing a book in the bibliography, whether it's a regular book or it's a commentary, you do not include the page numbers in the bibliography. We've already talked about this already, but I'll just kind of remind you about it. Journals and commentaries, right? The journal titles and commentary series titles are abbreviated in the footnotes, not in the bibliography. Right? So the abbreviation would be in your paper. In the bibliography, it is not abbreviated. And so remember to look those up. 8.4.1 in the SBL Handbook is the one where you can look down through in alphabetical order, find your journal title or find your commentary series, and then look over to the left and find what the abbreviation is. If you have a source that is using SBL and it has an abbreviation and you're not sure what that's to, 8.4.2 provides it in alphabetical order by abbreviation. Right, so you can look down through the order, find your abbreviation, look over and say, okay, this is Restoration Quarterly, or this is Church History, or this is the Journal of Biblical Literature. Right, so that's why Chapter 8 is useful as well. One last thing before we get into some examples is about page numbers. Page numbers below 100 are totally included, right? So if you're citing pages 75 through 77, 75 through 92, both numbers appear regularly. Page numbers above 100 will appear in an abbreviated form, where you might drop the first number in your second reference. So this is page numbers 110 to 121. But because the number is the same, I just drop it and just 110-21. Same thing, 131-35. So even though the first two numbers are the same in this case, I only drop that first number. However, if I'm citing from page 100, I include 100 and then the 1 for 114. So 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, up to 109 would be 109-114. All right, once you get above there, then you start dropping numbers in your citations. If you have page numbers above 1,000, you drop the first two or possibly the first three if they're the same. All right, 1002 to 1008, 1002 to 116, 1016, 1120 to 1150. But again, the 00s throw you off. 1100 to 1114. If you have two different numbers like this, then you go, if this isn't page numbers, these are dates. Right? For dates, you do not drop any numbers, only page numbers. What questions do you have? All right, let's go through some examples. Get a piece of paper or open a word processing document, whatever you want to use. I'm going to give you some information and then give you a couple minutes and see if you can pull together the appropriate source. So I'm going to give you some information that you would have. Here is information about an article, the title of which is Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2, and 1530, 1 and 2, and the occasion of the letter to the Romans. Found in Catholic Biblical Quarterly. I'll give you the volume, the issue number, the date, the author. Actually, we'll do this one. We'll do this one first, and then I'll give you one of the other ones to do. All right, so you don't have to do this one. All right, so here's the information that I have. So what do we start off with if I'm doing a footnote? What do I start off with? Footnote of a journal article. Start off with the author. First name, last name. All right, so George Smiga. All right, what do I do with the title? Put it in quotation marks, right? So George Smiga, then the title. What do I do with the journal article? In a footnote. I'm going to abbreviate, so I would need to look that up. Here I have the volume and issue number. Do I need all this information?
I need the volume.
I need the volume. I don't need the issue number. I just need the volume. How about the date?
No, not in the footnote.
Are you sure?
Unless I missed it.
You need the year. All right. Volume number, 53, and then in parentheses, the year. All right. Then, of course, I have my pages. Do I need this other information? Well, we'll talk about this last part here. Do I need the ISSN? No. Don't need it, right? And so I think when I pull off the information, let's say in the database, I'm going to have all this information. Not all of it applies. So a citation, a footnote citation, would look like this. All right, George Smiga, comma, in quotation marks, Romans chapter 12, 1 and 2, in 1530, and the occasion of the letter to the Romans, comma, in quotation marks. The abbreviation for Catholic Biblical Quarterly is CBQ. All right, I forgot the volume number on this one. I don't know why I did that. That should be 53. And then, so CBQ 53 should be in here, 1991 in parentheses, and then in the footnote I'm just citing page 257. So, what would be different in making this into a bibliographic? Alright, you would need the entirety of the page range. What else would abbreviate CBQ? You don't need to abbreviate CBQ. What else would be different? Okay, so it would be first name or last name, comma first name.
I said the whole journal title.
Yes, the whole journal title, the whole. Yes, so Catholic Biblical Quarterly. Again, you would need the volume number, so unfortunately I didn't include that in this one, and when I was reviewing it, I missed it. Then there would also be some punctuation differences. Instead of using commas in many places, you use period. Anything else, formatting-wise, that would be different.
Or the hanging indent.
Right? Hanging indent. Instead of the first line indented, the first line is going to be out, and then anything else is going to be a hanging indent.
What do you mean by all the pages? What if I'm only looking at one page? And what's the...
So if you're just looking at the one page, that's going to show up in your footnote. But in a bibliographic citation, you need all the pages of the article.
Okay.
All right? And so the entirety of that page range.
I guess like 1/3 whatever.
No, just for the article. Right? And so your article is going to be, in this case, it's 257 to 273. Those are the page numbers of that article. Right? And so you need that for the bibliographic citation, even if you only cite or only footnote page 257. All right? And so it would look like this in this case. All right? Now, part of this has to do with what you can do on PowerPoint. Your indentation is going to be a little bit more on your word processor than what's here, but that's largely a PowerPoint issue. But still, you can kind of see the indentation. Okay? Any questions about that? Right. Another one here. This time, Douglas moves Epistle to the Romans, a commentary. What information on this screen don't I need? Now this one down here is the page number you're going to be citing. Right, you don't need the ISBN. What else don't you need?
Can't show.
Right? Right? I mean, this just tells you where the book is in the library. Right? You don't need that information. Anything else that you don't need? You don't need how many pages the total book is, or the width of the book. All right? So there's sometimes you'll get some information, like if you're looking up in a card catalog or something like that, that just doesn't include. It doesn't matter. All right. So again, what do we start off with in citing a commentary?
Author.
All right. In what order?
First and last.
All right. So in this case, Douglas J. Moo. What comes after that? Title of what? Right. The title of the actual commentary, right? So the Epistle to the Romans. Now again, that's going to vary from series to series. In another series, it might just be Romans, or it might just be to the Romans, or it might just be something else. Right? So you want to make sure you're specific to the title. What else? All right, so we got our name, we got the title of our commentary. What comes next? Okay.
I don't really know what that means. I wrote it down. That's commentary.
Yeah, so that's the abbreviation of the commentary series. Commentary series, commentary, right?
Gotcha.
In this case, New International Commentary on the New Testament is NICNT. All right. Now, if this were a specific volume, all right, volume 35, all right, you would want to include that after the abbreviation. In this commentary series, there is not a specific volume number, so you do not need to include that information. All right, so the series, what comes after the series and the volume number?
City, publisher, and date.
All right, the city or publisher and date. In this case, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Erdman's. Now, Erdman's is a well-known publishing company. Grand Rapids, is known as a well-known publishing city for evangelical publishing houses like Erdman's, Zondervan. Let's see, who else is in Grand Rapids? I think Baker might be in Grand Rapids, right? So there's a lot of publishing houses in Grand Rapids. So while it doesn't seem like a big city to us, and we might be tempted to include Michigan in there, we don't need to. Right? So if it's Grand Rapids, just leave it as Grand Rapids. Also, when it comes to William B. Erdman's publishing company, all you need to include is Erdman's. Right? And so you can drop like publishing company. If it's initials, you can usually drop those for the publisher. Don't do that, however, with university presses. So it should be Oxford University Press, Cambridge University Press, New York University Press, or NYU, University of California Press, etc. All right. Where do we put the page number that we're citing in the footnote? Right, that shows at the end after the comma. So, here's what the citation would look like. Right, our footnote number. Right, Douglas James, the Epistles of the Romans. Right, New International Commentary of the New Testament. Grand Rapids, Erdman's, 1996, and 200. The bibliographic citation slightly different, as we've talked about last name, first name. Right, periods instead of commas. The title of the commentary, italicized. The commentary series, not. And then, of course, the indentation. Now, this time, I'm going to give you a sample of journal citations for the same article. I want you to tell me which one is correct. All right, so we have this article by Zane Hodges on the woman taken in adultery. I am looking for, okay, they're not quite right, but bear with me on this. I'm looking for the appropriate footnote citation. Actually, no, not footnote citation. Bibliographic citation, that's what I was looking for. Ignore the question of indentation right now, because it didn't show up properly. Which one is correct for bibliographic citation? All right, the second. Why is it the second one? Right. So bibliographic, what you're going to note is the last name, right? And so we have three here with the last name, but you have all this information about the days, all this information about the date, when all you need is the year. Additionally, you have the title of the journal versus the abbreviations. So yes, number 2 would be correct. Should be indented, but it's not. That's another one I missed. All right, now it's your turn. Given this information, I want you to put together a note citation. Right? You're going to footnote page 132 in your paper. The abbreviation for Restoration Quarterly is ResQ, with the R and the Q capitalized.
Journal article?
This is a journal article, and that your footnote